barking pals. Welcome to another episode of Parallel Barking, where my father and I will bark at each other.
Woof, woof.
Yip, yip. And today we will be discussing something that most dogs are very upset about.
Well, they're jealous.
They're jealous. Okay, they're jealous. They're jealous of the kitties. Kitties getting all the attention.
And by this, we mean meow, meow.
Yes, meow, meow. Specifically getting the attention of a specific woman on a plane on board a Delta flight.
A person who is capable of lactation.
Yes, this is a very important fact, because an image has been floating around the interwebs, claiming a woman was caught breastfeeding her little kitty cat.
Attempting to.
Whilst on board a Delta Airlines flight. And so we wanted to discuss, how could this be in this day and age?
It's very simple.
How?
Mechanically, now whether successful or not, we don't know. But technically, it's actually quite simple. You open up your shirt.
No.
And
Stop.
then
No.
you put a cat in proximity to that part of your body that you believe is capable of lactation.
No. It doesn't even seem real. Like a pair. Okay, so I've seen it. My dad's seen it. There is an image of a screenshot.
Well, we've seen the screenshot. We haven't seen the actual event.
Okay, screenshot of an aircraft, a quote, aircraft communications addressing and reporting system message that the pilot of the Delta Airlines flight sent out to the ground, requesting a quote, special red coat to meet one of the passengers on the plane. Now, if you don't know what a red coat is, everybody.
And he's not a British soldier from the 18th century.
Although it excited me to think so. I do still imagine that in my head.
Teleported up to the Atlanta airport in 2021. That would be interesting.
Red coats for the Delta airline are Delta's, quote, elite airport customer service experts, identifiable by their bright red coats. They are especially.
Maybe it should have been a white coat.
No, that would be too messy. They're specially trained to handle on-the-stop customer issues.
In the old days, white coats were what you'd call people who worked at mental health facilities.
Oh, but see, okay, you're just assuming that whoever is on this flight is not in their right mind.
No, not at all. Quite the reverse. I'm assuming that people assume that this person was out of their minds. I'm making no such assumption.
Oh, good.
But I'm making an assumption about societal assumptions about which is implied in your own tone.
Perfect.
About how ludicrous it is. I don't see it as ludicrous at all. I see, and that actually for me is what makes the story more interesting. We can assume it's true, or we can assume the attempt to engage in lactation is true, or we can assume it's false, but everyone believes or is desperate to believe that it's true, or that we're capable in this society right now of imagining this, considering what else has been going on planes in the era of COVID. And I think that's what makes the story far more interesting than either the mechanics of trying to get a cat to receive human lactation, or whether or not it's true. So
yes.
So let's go from there. So what's wrong with this picture, if anything, or what should be celebrated?
I mean, I guess what
You're speechless.
I am speechless. All right. The bottom line is
the front of your body.
The bottom line is this lady wanted to
person
care
capable of lactation.
for her kitty
This
by
person capable of lactation. So we have
okay,
no idea.
you
We have
want
no
to
idea. Well, but we have
approach
no
this
idea.
scientifically. Let's
We have
assume.
no. It could
Let's
be
assume.
a. You're making an assumption. We have no idea what the gender of this person was. We know what their signage was to outsiders who may not be who read signals and signs from manifested through clothing and appearance, appeared in traditional female garb.
What was that?
I don't know. It was interesting though.
Please continue.
It dressed in female garb, but so let's assume it was someone capable of lactation, or someone who believed themselves capable of lactation, right? But what makes this kind of interesting? One of the stories for me was kind of funny. It's kind of and I hate using this term, but I'm going to use it anyway. Bricolage or assemblage. We're taking some bricks or some blocks and kind of putting them together in interesting ways. So block number one, over the past several years, airlines have gone out of their way, mostly virtue signaling, but sometimes it actually works, in being in the vanguard of protecting a woman's right to breastfeed her child, breastfeed children, in a way that is relatively appropriate, and sometimes in your seat.
Well, yes, and Delta stands.
So that's wait. So that's brick number one. So they
Okay.
stand for the proposition that we are all in favor of breastfeeding and we love children.
Yes, that is
brick number two. We embrace people's close affinity to their animal friends and viewing them as family, and therefore, in accordance, subject to our rules, we invite them onto the plane as well. So now we have brick number one, which is we are in the vanguard of pro-lactation culture, and brick number two, we're in the vanguard of pro-animal connectivity in flight. Now, what makes the story interesting, of course, is that what we're doing is taking these two bricks, these two blocks that normally don't exist in this proximity, and putting them together. But why not?
Well, yeah, and like super duper emphasizing it. It's like a super hyperbole of like, yes, I love, and I will express this by, doing it this way.
Well, but what if, as we've all seen, and some of us who will remain nameless may be guilty of, what if, in fact, this person, irrespective of gender, was making out with her cat?
Well, I mean,
what the problem here, or the thing that just titillated everyone, was something actually quite juvenile. The notion of
a bare titty.
Yeah, well, a lactating titty.
Yes.
Or a breast capable of lactation. And at that point, you have to wonder, that's what makes the story more interesting. Who's actually the weird one here? Is it everyone who's being titillated like a 4-year-old about a person exposing or not even exposing, because we have no idea what they did, or making their potentially lactating breast available to something that is not normally associated with human lactation?
I think you're touching on something very important. I think a lot of people
I'm not
are
touching anything.
Very I don't know. I won't touch that with a 50-foot pole. I just don't think people are, or many are, comfortable or with the human body, and when it does get mentioned, or even the thought of it, it's, lack of a better word, titillating.
Yeah, or it can be abuse, right? And so the other part of the story is, well, if you put these two blocks together, are we talking about either breastfeeding or the love of animals, but are we actually assembling for the purpose of subverting, that is, of either abusing or subverting a system, that is by taking two positive things and then I'm going to use very judgmental terms, corrupting them by putting them together.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if
And
you're
so what
doing
people may
things
be flipping, right. So what people may be flipping out about is the corruption. But what's corrupt about it? What's corrupt about it is people are drawing lines in our cultural sand.
The unfamiliarity, the ideas that this is what we've decided that we are not doing.
Well, it's certainly unusual.
Right.
But, and so you can either view it as violating a minor taboo, and that seems to be the way it works, because it was a red coat that was meeting the airline rather than either personnel from a psychiatric institution or the police, right?
Yes.
So it was a minor taboo. But at the same time, and maybe the larger picture is this comes on the heels of an almost endless stream of stories about how all kinds of social markers, right? Social taboos are now being broken in airlines, people fighting, people rebelling, right? And so airlines have become the site for rebellion.
Yeah.
For acting out or for resisting what people on the ground increasingly view. Now, whether you agree with them or not, we're not talking about that. We're talking about for whether they're right or wrong. And that's not this podcast, but whatever, they're using airlines as a space where they can react
and rebel, test the waters,
and contest. And so maybe what we're seeing, and the more interesting part of the story of the person with the cat in need of lactation, is that in fact what it's suggesting is a very interesting way in which weird or unusual spaces like airlines, and who knows what else, like gyms or airlines or something, but certainly airlines, it's up in the air, it's disconnected. If you think about it, as a metaphor, a space that is now detached from these huge webs of COVID related and national security related and morals related and social limitations and transformation related space, where you can sort of seek to either subvert, resist, rebel, or otherwise act out in weirdly unhelpful ways, perhaps, given whatever it is that you're trying to do. Or maybe you're not trying to do anything just other than to express something that isn't conformity to whatever it is that you think is now either threatening or hemming you in.
Well, I think we might see some of that in like the metaverse, but I think that's part of the beauty of the metaverse is people can make it whatever they want, and they don't have to live within the confines of.
So what we should do then is that person maybe ought to have gotten, what do you call those things? Everyone on an airplane should be given an Oculus.
Yes.
With a program, right? With a program where they can act out any way they like. But then you don't need to get on an airplane to do this. But yeah, so.
And pretend you're not sitting around other people that you do not want to be around. Yes, everybody should have an Oculus.
Perfect. And then we get one step closer to the Matrix. We're all tied.
Did you know?
We're all tied to the Oculus. We're all tied to, I'm laughing. I shouldn't be laughing. We're all tied to the Oculus, where we can act out and be heroic or rebellious or conforming or whatever it is we want, but in the safe space of our minds.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This actually also makes me think, would it even be healthy for a cat to have human breast milk?
Now, is it healthy for a human to have cow milk?
Or cat milk?
I don't know. I've never tried it.
Have you milked a cat?
No. I have a thing now with no.
With milk. Oh, yes. You have a dairy allergy, but I don't know. We haven't tried cat milk.
We have not, and unless we start moving from podcasting to TikToking, it's it's just not. No, I really am sounding like my own grandfather.
Yes.
Uh, I doubt we'll do that. But anyway, so the story, and even more interesting, is in a sense that the story actually got, I think the expression has got legs, and it's circulated at least for a nanosecond, which is a long time in our world of like instantaneous celebrity and then instantaneous oblivion. But it actually circulated, which to some extent indicated the story is more interesting for the fact that people will read it and think about it and think, it's true or not true, or it says something bigger or smaller about our society or whatever. And that's kind of interesting too. One that, in fact, this is something that is now within the realm of the plausible, that it would not surprise us, although we're all squealing, that some person who believes themselves capable of lactation, two, capable of lactation across species, and three, willing to do it on an airplane rather than in the privacy of one's home.
Or any public space.
Or any public space, right? That would have been interesting. I wonder if we'd had the same problem if this person would have tried to do it in a public park or on a subway.
Or like, what if they tried to breastfeed a squirrel? Or
oh, that would be hard. Having tried to use those little stopper things to feed baby squirrels. Yes. I don't even see how you can get them. Oh my God. I don't see how you can get
difficult feeding those.
Maybe something with a larger mouth than and less squiggly than a little baby squirrel. Those are too small. But yeah, but I get your I get you.
But then I also think of the cat's teeth. Like, wouldn't that hurt?
Well, you're actually making this plausible.
I'm trying.
I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about this as
very
metaphor.
Practical.
Yeah, this is the difference between the philosopher and the engineer. You're actually trying to engineer this, right? How can we make this possible? Well, I guess we can invent this thing that will kind of will put like gloves, some kind of prophylactic on the teeth, but will still allow them to chew. I'm at the other level thinking conceptually, wow, my mind is blown. I don't have to worry about it.
How is this happening?
You've zoomed past that. You're in the mechanics of
it's
this
happened.
thing.
It's happened. It's already happened. It's happening. It's gonna happen. We've been there. Hedonism.
Well, it's not just that. You worry not so about teeth, but you should probably ought to worry about the claws too.
Yes, that's so true. I mean, but then, some people might like that.
With their cats?
With their cats.
All right, so that brings the next question. Assuming all of this is true and one can get over the mechanical problem, and we've got no problem with people doing this in public spaces, next question should be, should we allow it?
I hate this question.
Should, and actually it's an even more interesting, because one is, who are the we?
Yeah, exactly.
Two, what is the allow?
Yeah. And who are we allowing, and who do we have jurisdiction over? Exactly.
Right. But we do get into everyone is into everyone else's business now, because it beats talking about the bigger things like other things.
Yes.
When all else, and maybe that is a sign of the times, when all else fails, it's these little small things that keep a society sane. We can't do comedy anymore, so we do stories about people with ambitious lactation programs across species.
That was the best way I've heard it put yet. I think. Ambitious lactation program. I think they probably should have changed it to that headline. Woman with ambitious lactation.
Now, of course, as a lawyer, there's a simple solution to all of this.
Let's hear it.
You just add another clause to the 5,000 clauses that are already in your ticket, or you add a line to the what the flight attendants say at the beginning of a flight, and now we will include, don't forget to strap on your seatbelt, no smoking, keep your tray up.
Oh.
And for those of you who are thinking about it, this airline now forbids any sort of breastfeeding in your seat or otherwise, other than human beings.
You could just say interspecies breastfeeding.
Right, interspecies breastfeeding. Now, if that's the case, ought one to have some kind of right to breastfeed whatever it is one wants to breastfeed? And two, must you have the capacity to lactate in order to breastfeed? In other words,
No.
ought men to be allowed
Yes.
to, because, for example, they might say, well, think of it as a pacifier. And
okay, no. Something has to come out of the nipple and sustain.
Now you're being very conservative.
No, that is not conservative. Breastfeeding. It's like a feeding tube, like to feed. We're not being philosophical here, like feeding the need to chew.
We're back on the breast. Now we're back on the breast. So what if
you talked about that?
Your finger. Well, what if you use your finger instead of the breast? Now you're using a different body part for pacification, and the kid or the
okay, but you definitely said breastfeeding. You definitely.
But that's the point. So notice, if I use my finger, you have no objection.
Finger feeding.
All of a sudden, if there's a nipple anywhere within sight, now people go all crazy, and the entire socio-philosophy or socio-culture of human bodies and human interaction comes to the fore.
Okay, but if you called it what it was, finger sucking, I think people would also have a problem with that.
Why? If you put your finger out and you provide another sentient life form some comfort, what's the problem there?
There is no problem, but people, I'm saying, are Victorian now.
Well, no, you see that just, now you're making a judgment about people's capacity to be quite
yes.
I'm trying to find the right non-judgmental word.
Oh wow, he's leaving it to me this time. It's cool, I'll take it. He's laughing because he knows it's true.
Well, we have beaten this cat to death. I think the cat's 9 lives have dwindled. But for those in the audience who have a view on this, but it is an interesting convergence of the way we think of body parts, the way we create all kinds of cultural norms and expectations about the functionality of body parts, and the way in which we create these spaces where functional uses of body parts are reserved for certain places, or there's like these certain performances or ceremonies around them, and that the entire social order is built around this complex set of expectations about your body and its use. And then when you start playing around with them a little bit at the edges, or when you do it like this, which is kind of, it really is a kind of challenging parody, then all of a sudden people get very agitated.
Yes, crossing some unspoken lines. It's just,
well, everyone was speaking
very anxious. Makes me very anxious. Makes people very anxious. I think it's hilarious, but that's neither here nor there. I had a lot of fun barking today. How about you, Dad?
Woof woof.
Yip yip. Here. Anything else for you?
Nope. Until next time.
Until next time. All right. Say bye, Dad.
Woof woof.
Yip yip.